Great Debaters Contest is brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.
Welcome to the Great Debaters Contest, the best debate show this side of the Sahara. We have pitched camp in the home of bullfighting, Kakamega County. I am your host, Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Nyambok. Our motion today is, over-reliance on foreign aid is a key contributor to underdevelopment in Africa. We have Bishop Sulumeti versus Mukumu boys. We are looking for the greatest debater.
We'll now have the first proposer take the stage. You have 3 minutes.
One French philosopher and revolutionarist by the name Frantz Fanon, in his anti-colonialism masterpiece, once talked of Africans as spoiled children of yesterday. This means that Africans are underdeveloping. This is because of over-relying on these foreign aids. Take, for example, the dependency syndrome that is eating into our African members. African countries. Africans believe that they are inferior human beings. They want to believe that those that have been imported are the ones good for them. Take, for example, Ghana and Zimbabwe. They've got a lot of minerals within them. They are able to develop, but they're over-relying on foreign aid. They are sitting on the potential they have. I stand to my point that over-reliance is the key contributor to underdevelopment in African countries. In my own observation, I've got to understand that these people from Western continent, they've come to spearhead sinister interest in African countries. Take, for example, the Chinese in our roads. They're given the second-hand jobs on Africans, on Kenyans. Jobs like carry this stone, put it there. Take this cement, mix it. They're giving first priorities to these Chinese people. How can the per capita income improve, which can contribute to development in this country? If you're giving them these jobs of earning 200 shillings only, seriously? Over-dependence, over-reliance on foreign aid is the key contributor to underdevelopment. These people, obviously, a good turn deserves another, and tit for tat is a fair game, as they say. When they give us loans, for example, the World Bank, they expect these loans to be paid back with a lot of interest within them. Recently, the budget was read. The budget went up to 2.3 trillion shillings. And the Kenya Revenue Authority says they have only 1.6 trillion within them. Where are they going to remove the gap that is there? Where are they going to remove this money to fill this gap? Should they steal? They'll go again, they'll go back to borrow. And remember last year, 2014-2015 budget, they also borrowed from World Bank. You see, they're making us to have wide debts, large debts that we are supposed to pay. And obviously, no one of you in this audience will tell me that you will be free. You will be free if you have a debt with someone. As your students, we believe that even if you have 100 shillings belonging to someone, she'll keep on following you. I want my money, I want my money. How can you develop? How can you? It is unfortunate that most African countries have signed bad contracts that give them unproportionate shares, that keep on relaxing their minds. They only use 9% when they're supposed to use 100% of their brain. So I stand to strongly say that over-reliance on foreign aid is the key contributor to underdevelopment in African continents. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes for your opening remarks.
Teamwork is working together, even when you are apart. As far as the African continent is separated from the other continents, we are a team. We are a global people that we should help each other. We should offer a brotherhood hand so that we can go through turbulent waters. I am Lewis Shivochi from St. Ignatius Mukumu Boys, and I firmly stand to say over-reliance on foreign aid is not the key contributor to underdevelopment in Africa. Have a view in your mind. Take a deep breath and imagine of it. How many accidents have we experienced in Kenya as a nation? How many of them How many of your relatives have you lost through road accidents? They are many. And yet, we are against over-reliance. Over-reliance as a fact means to fully depend on something. For us to be given more for more development, we need to over-rely, not just rely. And also, let us ask ourselves, what is aid? Aid is support or help given to someone who is in dire need. You are in need. You cannot just sit. For others, you may have it, man for himself, but God for us all. No, it is not true. Because we need to help each other. We need to develop. Let us ask ourselves this. Can an eagle fly without wind to sow it to its wings? No, it can't. How has foreign aid helped us as a continent? Foreign aid, as a fact, as I have earlier said, it has enabled us develop in terms of infrastructure and technology. Look at the roads in Kenya. A good example is the Thika superhighway. It has led to the reduction of death rates in the country. Look at other developments that take place with the knowledge inserted or not accessed by you. And yet you claim to propose that over-reliance is a key contributor to underdevelopment. Of course not. Let us also ask ourselves, education. You want to earn that knowledge so that you may be a good person, someone with respect, a great person in future. How can that be made possible? Look at a state in Ghana. 33% of school fees is paid by foreign aid. And out of the 33%, remember, 70% of Africa's development schemes is through foreign aid. Develops talent. Look at Yaya Toure's visit to Ukunda in Mombasa. I'm sure more will yearn to be like Yaya Toure. He is our own. But he said, I cannot sit and watch African nations do what? Just be African people get wasted, but rather go and acquire and come and help these 16%, 16 countries out of those who borrowed relief from foreign countries are now developed. Do you want to develop or you want to regress in dormancy of poverty? Thank you.
We'll now hear rebuttals. Proposers, you have 3 minutes.
Kenya was colonized by the British. We seem to be forgetting that. Let me enlighten you. Tamasha Achieng from Bishop Sulumeti. After Kenya being colonized by the British, the Kenyans were made to understand and believe that without foreign aid from foreign countries, we are nothing. What is the cause of this? What are the consequences of believing that we're nothing? We nurture, we provide, we improve culture and talent from other people, forgetting our own. Take a good example. Many Kenyans prefer second-hand clothes, mostly known as mitumba, because they come from foreign countries. We don't believe in our own produce. Why is this? Because we tend to believe that those produce that are brought from outside are better than ours. We buy them, we struggle for them. Even though they're cheap, we don't see their effects. Even though they're second-hand clothes, we don't see their effect. We tend to leave ours and go for what is outside. After the 2007 post-election violence, many IDP camps were formed in Kenya. These IDPs depend on NGOs such as UNICEF, USAID, and others for food, medical support, and even tents that they sleep in. If a country cannot provide even tents for their IDPs, that is a sign of a failed country, and a failed country is an underdeveloped country. Take, for example, if the NGOs would have taken the trouble to come in and teach these IDPs on how to manufacture the food, on how to treat some diseases, wouldn't have it made a step forward? They make us to become very lazy. We sit on our talent, we sit on our brains, because we're used to being given. We are underdeveloped. Speaking of these NGOs, they are just opportunists who crave for Western glory and ideologies. They come in, help us extract our minerals, go and manufacture them for us. They produce them and sell them, making the greater part of the profit. What do we remain with? A very tiny amount of profit. Yes, it is good to give to receive, but should we give and receive?
we are being sat on. We should wake up. Over-reliance on foreign aid is the key contributor to underdevelopment in Africa. Our country is rich in various minerals. If these minerals could have just been brought up and worked on by indigenous people, we could have made a step forward. We could have improved our country's improved our country's infrastructure. If we sit here and wait for these NGOs to come and help us, what of the day they will stop helping us and say, no, we are tired of helping you? We will sit there and starve to death. We will say, oh, we don't have. We're supposed to be independent. We're supposed to be able to produce our own. We should not rely on them. And over-relying on them is affecting us greatly. Over-reliance on foreign aid is the key contributor to underdevelopment in Africa.
Opposition will now hear your rebuttal. You have 3 minutes.
Well, I am Sinclair Tamu from Mukumu Boys, and I would like to say that over-reliance on foreign aid is not the key contributor to underdevelopment in Africa. A speaker from the proposing team said that over-reliance makes our products seem inferior. She meant that we rely on the products from the foreign countries, but that is true, yes, but relying on these products helps us improve on our low products. That is, we only accept only the best from the other countries. A good example is our government denying all the phones which are not good enough from the Chinese countries, only accepting the ones which are best so that we can improve on our own products, on the way we make them, on our creativity, and the best way so that we can improve our development. Over-reliance also improves on our good relations with other countries. These good relations bring us to be in good terms with powerful countries in the world. These powerful countries may come to help us in terms of economic growth. They buy our materials. They buy our raw materials, the ones that we cannot manufacture ourselves in our countries. We don't have to stay with the raw materials because they buy them, and this has only been brought by over-reliance. Over-reliance also improves our mode of education. Our education in terms that when people go abroad, they are usually sponsored by some NGOs from abroad, from the foreign countries. They usually help them nurture what they have. They usually help them nurture their brains. They help them nurture their brains, and when they come back, they fill us with what they have experienced out there, what that they have experienced that has made the other countries to grow more than we do. And as we all know, an eagle cannot soar without wind. Foreign aid is the wind beneath African wings, and we have to take it. We have to accept foreign aid. We have to take it too much so that we can grow very much. We have to take all the over-reliance, we have to take all the support, all the foreign support, so that we can be a better nation. We can embetter our students, we can embetter us, and we will lead to bigger countries. And as you all know, some of you are saying that this over-reliance is not being felt in all of us, but it is being felt by most of us. It is being felt by most of us. And you may think your light is small, but it can make a huge difference in other people's lives. Thank you.
Ukitaka huduma kutuma pesa, tumia M-Pesa, the better option.
Take part in the M Challenge by sending your short song, rap, or poem about Safaricom M-Pesa on WhatsApp, and you could win 1,000 shillings in Safaricom airtime.
So the audience has posed questions to the two teams on stage. They will be responding shortly. The proposers have been asked what would have happened to West African countries if foreigners had not chipped in to help during the Ebola crisis. They will be responding to that. The opposition have been asked, is our reliance on foreign aid the reason why we have genetically modified maize in our country? We'll have them respond to the questions. Proposer number 3, you have 3 minutes.
What would happen to the West African countries if there was no foreign aid? That's what we call the syndrome we are made to believe, that without them, we cannot make it. What if the West African countries were meant to believe in themselves, make use of their experts? I believe that in the West African countries, there are people who can help contribute their minds together and come up with a control and curb the disease. But we are meant to believe that the foreign aiders are the ones who can help us. Africa has been meant to be like a dumping site. Presently in schools, we have programs like computer services that are being supplied to our schools. So, the computers that are being brought, how sure are we that they're not waste from their countries, that they're just bringing us to use for a little time and dump them? We have brought books in form of aid. The books were brought, therefore the system in the foreign countries. I'm sure the students in our schools, the 844 system, do not make use of those books. So we lag behind, yet we pay for the services. There is foreign dominance in our countries because of relying on foreign aid. Like for example, we brought farm produce from the foreign countries. The storage or the warehouses are filled with that produce, and the farmers from the interior lack space to keep their goods. That creates wastage of our own. What if the farmers were given time and space to exploit their talents, exploit their careers, exploit their knowledge, and show us what they have? Africa will become the best in the world market. We will have people who come in to help us create and improve on our infrastructure. The infrastructure, like the transport system, we have the Chinese who come in. The Chinese make use of the naive local girls to satisfy their sexual desires, making them drop out of schools, making them remain at home, and they are the same people we are depending on to help us develop and grow. In fact, let me educate you. The foreigners we depend on, they leave us poorer than the way we were.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to respond.
Do you want to take us back to the illiterate life that you were before we attained independence? I am Sultan Jonathan from the St. Ignatius Mukumu Boys. The question was, we got genetic maize. Yes, we got genetic maize, but at least it saved many lives in Kenya. Then, if we had resisted the maize, then we had lost a lot of lives here in Kenya. Look at poor education, poor infrastructure, poor technology. But now, there's improved technology. There's digital migration. Thika Superhighway, this is a golden example. That is in Kenya. Electric trains in South Africa. That's a good example. They develop talent. Foreign aid is like a street light along road. They don't make the distance short, but they light up the path and make the walk easy and safe. Let me see in the Bible. The Bible states, many people perish because of lack of knowledge. Will you resist when a friend identifies your weakness and she gives you a hand? She is ready to offer you a hand so that she can help you. Will you resist? Will you reject? That's a food for thought. Ghana. Let us look at Ghana. 33% of the school fees in education, it is supported by the foreign aid. And Ghana has continued to develop and develop in the universities, in the secondaries. This is because of the foreign aid. And education is always there nourishing, day by day. Look at the negative side. That the countries that have not accepted foreign aid. Look at Zimbabwe. They have low living standards, poor infrastructures. The currency are low. Where are we going? Let us accept this foreign aid in true, so that they can help us to improve our countries. Thank you.
We'll now hear closing submissions. Proposers, you have a minute.
Cancer is a very bad disease. It creeps in, causes damage, and by the time we realize it, it's too late for us. The same goes for our opponents. It's like they only measure on the outward effects of over-reliance and don't dig deep in within. When Kenya borrows from World Bank, we're only told after the effects have occurred. When an accident happens in Kenya, it is aired in the news. We are aware. But thanks to God, I'm here today. I believe I have enlightened you, and from now on, you're aware of the effects. Yes, the foreign aid, they come in to lend a hand, to help our countries. They should not come in to drain our countries and make us depend on them. We don't want to be parasites. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 1 minute as well for your closing statements.
I have a question for my fellow proposers. What if just right now you hear that you have cancer with your beautiful faces so bright, and then in the next month, in the next 1 month, you lose your lives? Will you go for the over-reliance foreign aid from India, or will you resist and remain in Kenya, where only Kenyatta National Hospital has no advanced machines to cure cancer cases? Will you?
Marion, you're real and confident, and I love the fact that you just come to the stage and really express yourself. Check on your mastery of language, and I guess more research would have helped you to start off the team well. Tamasha, you're a very good speaker, and I think you're very strong of the three. But you did not cross-examine your opponents, because that's your own. So when you come to the stage, remember that you only show us that you listen to the other team by how you rebuttal what they had given in. Abigail, poor submissions. I mean, I think you would have really picked up from Tamasha, because Tamasha leaves us very high. So when you come on stage, I would want to encourage you and say that if you really pack it yourself, the next time you come here on stage, you'll make a better speaker, all right? So it's just purely practice. Make sure you organize yourself, practice before you even come, so that at least you can understand how this is. You made one statement about sexual gratifications and foreigners coming. I mean, I only said, oops, we don't want to really portray them as people who don't have any other agenda. So it's good to be careful.
Mukumu boys, again, good job, passion and conviction. I think we see that a lot in Lewis. But I kind of feel like you hung alone and you don't have a very strong team back there. For Sinclair, grammar is a little confusing. And for me, you are more of an orator rather than a debater. Because an orator, you can actually get away with being a good orator, but there were no points really. And for Sultan, again, I can't remember your response to the questions, and maybe I'm the one who missed it, but you were okay, So if I could compare, this Bishop Sulumeti had two strong debaters, and you had just one, strong debater on your end.
English has a syntax, and our native languages equally have syntax. Now, it is wrong for you to construct a sentence in your original language and without changing the syntax, translate it into English language. It becomes a problem and it becomes ungrammatical. Marion, forgive me, but there are a lot of things you made mention of. Where will they remove the money from? I guess you meant, where will they get the money from? If someone owes you something, that person will keep on following you, I guess what you meant here is the person will pester you. Abigail, you said, let us contribute our minds together. we cannot really contribute our minds together. I guess what you meant was, let us reason together or let us dialogue. So to the debaters, what I can advise is, let us check our syntax of English language. Let us see how we construct our sentences. To the two teams, I think it was fair. I'll not address the boys much. It has been said. It was a fair attempt from you.
Mukumu boys. The judges awarded you 65.6%. Please give them a round of applause. Bishop Sulumeti. The judges saw it fit to award you 67%. You are our winners for the debate.
Congratulations to Bishop Sulumeti, and for more great debates just like this one, keep watching the Great Debaters Contest. From all of us here at the show, we'd like to thank you for watching, and of course thank our sponsors, Safaricom M-Pesa, and also KBC Channel 1. Remember to follow us on Twitter at Great Debaters EA. I have been your host, Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Nyambok. Catch you next time.
The Great Debaters Contest was brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.